Being eco-friendly or sustainable doesn't have to cost heaps of money. So today I wanted to share with you some of my favorite eco-friendly kitchen hacks that really help me save money in the long term and reduce my waste. So let's dive in. Hello, and a warm welcome back to Simple Essentials. If you're new around here, my name is Emmy, and I create content to help you simplify your life in as many ways as possible. Lately, I've talked a lot about moving house, decluttering, and things like that, and there'll be lots more of that type of content coming up soon. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel via that little button below if you want to follow along on the journey. But today we're going to actually change and talk about something different, which is meal planning, sustainability, and saving you money. And I am extremely passionate about not wasting food. So as you know, I do a lot of meal planning and cooking at home, and I'll link that playlist for you up here as well as down below if you're interested in that. But a key thing when it comes to kitchen and cooking is also to have a bit of a sustainable approach to reduce our waste. So the first piece of waste we can obviously reduce is by meal planning and making sure we don't buy more food than we need, so we use all of it, so we're not throwing that in the bin. You just need to do a quick Google on food waste and whatever country you live in to be horrified how much food actually goes straight in the bin because we don't eat it on time or something else happens. But today I wanted to share with you some of my favorite eco-friendly products that are not particularly expensive, and they do help you save money in the long run. So let's dive in. So the first category we're going to look at is food storage containers, and specifically things to help you store your meal prep items in. And I've got a couple of different types of containers that I really like. Some of them are plastic, like these ones here. Though this one I particularly like. It's just, I don't know, Systema. This one's really common in the supermarkets here in Australia. It's got like a little lip on it. So the good thing about this is great for things like salads. It's very lightweight, so if you need to bring your lunch with you to work or something like that, or even soup and stuff, because it's got that little rubber seal in it, it makes sure that, or it's a bit less likely that it's going to leak. So this kind of stuff, I have a few of these on hand. They don't last forever, so sometimes you do need to chuck it in the bin, but I mean, most of them you can use for years before they go bad. This style is something that I often use if I have like half an onion or a little bit of something, a little bit of rice, whatever. This one doesn't have a seal on it, so I wouldn't use this for soups and things like that. And with both of these, I would recommend that you avoid heating things up in the microwave in plastic, because what happens when you heat up plastic time and time again is that little bits of plastic will actually go into your food. And even though our system can probably handle it, I'm not a doctor, so this is not doctoral advice, I personally prefer to avoid that, which is why I've moved for heated food to this type of container. So I've showed you this before in the channel. It's got a little lid on it. It's got a proper seal on it, and this is a glass container and a plastic lid. And the great thing about this is that if you are heating up soup, pasta, anything like that in the microwave, first of all, this stores the food really well in the fridge, and secondly, it's really great to heat it up in this type of container as well. So if you like meal prepping, I think I have 4 or 5 of these containers, and they only cost about $4 each at, I think it was Kmart or Target or something similar. So wherever you live, you don't have to spend a fortune. You know, for $15, $20, you can get some really good meal prep containers to last you a long while. And a totally free one, which you've also seen before, are using little jars of salsa or jam or something like that. This one I often use for dressings. So if you've seen my meal prep where I do salad dressings, which I will be part of the playlist that's linked below, this is really great because you can shake up a salad dressing, keep it in the fridge for a couple of days, and then just wash it in the dishwasher. And these type of containers, like little jars for, you can use it for spices and all sorts of things, they're free because most often you'll buy something in a jar so you can use it. So those are some of my favorite things to store your food in. One thing that I used to use a lot but use a little bit less these days is beeswax wraps, and you can get them in many different shapes and colors and things like that. These can be really good for like half an onion or half an avocado, and just simply wrap the top of the thing in the beeswax wrap, and it will usually keep its shape really well. I normally just wash them in kind of lukewarm water. You don't want to wash beeswax wraps in hot water. These are really good. I use them a little bit less now because I actually use resealable bags, which I'll show you in a second, but these can be a really great option as well. They don't last forever, so you will need to replace them, and they can cost a little bit of money to get in the first place. I think I bought this as part of a 2 or 3 pack for maybe $20 odd. So they're not cheap, but you can use them much, much longer than plastic. Okay, and for those of you who saw my last meal prep, you did see my new oven tray liner. Now this is really good because this is a silicone baking tray liner. You can use it for all sorts of things. I quite often do oven roasted veggies, and I'll use it for things like that. You can obviously use it if you're baking brownies or anything else and you don't want to things to stick to your dish that you use in the oven. The one thing with these that I've found is that you do need to wash them in hot soapy water, and sometimes it takes more than one time to really get the grease off, depending how oily or marinady the thing was that you cooked on it. I bought this as a 2-pack. I will link all of the products here below, either what I purchased or a similar thing on Amazon, so you can go and purchase it yourself. But this has been great. I've only been using these guys for I think a month or 2, and they've been really, really good. I didn't pay that much for them, and I can already tell they're going to last a really, really long time. Okay, so then we get onto bags, and we are not huge sandwich people in this family, but we do have sandwiches from time to time. So recently I picked up these kind of bags. They're heavy duty, resealable kind of Ziploc bags. And I bought this in a pack of 2, and they have been really, really good. You can use it to keep veggies fresh. It is also freezer friendly and things like that. So the really great thing about this is that you can use it for all sorts of things. My partner's had sandwiches with them to work a couple of times. He really liked them, and this size works really well. Again, this 2-pack obviously costs more than what you would pay for Ziploc plastic bags. And if you don't want to spend the money to get something like this quite yet, which I would highly recommend that you do because they'll last you for ages, is to wash and reuse your Ziploc bags. If you've only had a sandwich or some nuts or some small things in them, don't throw them in the bin. Make sure you clean them out just with some warm soapy water, leave them to dry. I normally just leave them to dry inside out, and you can use them again a good couple of times. Another type of bag that I have had for longer is this bag here, and it's got a very thick lining, but it comes with this little thing that you basically seal it with. Some of you have seen my previous video on sustainable tips, might have seen this one. So this one is really, really great in the freezer. I quite often use these bags. I have a pack of 2. I use them for things like minced beef, to freeze that, or chicken, and it lasts really, really well because this seal and this thing, if you put it on right, really gets all the air out of it and stores the item really, really well. And then you can just, and these are also a little bit bigger. They hold a little bit more than these, even if they look like they're the same size. They are, this one actually holds more volume. So I can highly recommend bags like this, and these ones I have had for at least 3 years, maybe longer, and I use them all the time. So highly recommend them. The other thing to consider is other plastic bags. So I already said, you know, make sure that you reuse your Ziploc bags or similar, but also I'll include some footage here of how I often use a reuse bags that other things have come in. So if you get a sturdy Ziploc type bag with your bread or something else, you can use that. So quite often I store my cheese because I buy a big block of cheese, and sometimes it can be hard to get a bag like this to store that cheese in. So quite often I will use one of our bread bags that has a Ziploc style seal on it and just reuse that for a couple of months. You can wash it out in between, obviously, as well, between uses. So that's a really good tip to make sure you're not buying extra plastic because you already had those items anyway. And finally, I wanted to share these little ones. If you are not new to IKEA, you might have already seen these in your nearest IKEA store. There are different clips, obviously, from other people as well. But this pack at IKEA comes with small and large ones, and I don't know how many there are. I'll find it and include it on the screen here. But these are brilliant. So if you have a plastic bag of any type, you simply use this to seal up your bag, make sure that the no air gets in it and things like that. And this works great for both the fridge and the freezer. Quite often I'll use this large one for a bag of salad or lettuce, like, you know, the pre-rinsed ones you can get, and it keeps it fresh for much longer. So rather than using rubber bands and other plastic things, these I have had for easily 10 years and they just last really well. They do start to bend over time, but honestly, I think that's a small price to pay. When it comes to plastic, most countries actually do let you recycle your soft plastics as well. And even if we try to be conscious and minimize how much plastic comes into our home, it is inevitable that when you go to the grocery store, you will get some plastic bags from your rice, your pasta, or whatever else. So what we do with the plastic that we can't recycle, the plastic that we can't use again, we recycle it. So we have a separate spot in my laundry cleaning cupboard area where we just put any plastic bags that we want to take to recycling. When that little bag is full, I just bring it with me next time I go to the store and get rid of it there. Here in Australia, every Coles, or almost every Coles and Woolworths, has a recycling bin for soft plastic somewhere near the entrance or the exit. So if you're watching this from Australia, have a look there. And if you're outside of Australia, make sure that you have a look at your local community and how you can recycle soft plastics. And there you go, those are my sustainable tips. Now, of course, these items, you will be spending a little bit of money up front to purchase them, but I can promise you they will last you a really long time if you look after them, and it will really help you reduce your footprint, but also avoid buying new plastic bags and things like that more often than you absolutely need to. So let me know below what some of your favorite eco-friendly kitchen or food storage hacks are. I'd love to learn from you guys if you've got some tips that I haven't already shared. And I really look forward to see you guys in the next video.